Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's Citi relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe the soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
Those in favor that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 be taken through the third reading, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no.
Ghana's parliament passes controversial anti-LGBTQI plus bill, which has been seen by some human rights advocates as an affront, while proponents insist is the best way to protect Ghanaian family values. The question tonight is, will the President Akufo-Addo sign it into law? Also coming up, Supreme Court gives second knockout to investigative journalist Anas Arimia Anas in the defamation case he brought against Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejepon. He failed at the lower court, went to the Supreme Court and was thrown out today. And later on Eyewitness News.
So in terms of the record, our record is superior, and we are going to put it out for public scrutiny, and it is there for everybody to see.
NPP flag bearer Dr. Mamadou Bawumia unveils his campaign team, saying they have a superior record to the NDC's John Mahama. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
former Finance Minister said Tekwe pushes for alternatives to curb over-reliance on treasury bills to fund government activities.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business News. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations and across the globe on citinewsroom.com. Let's start off with Parliament. And it was a bill that was prepared by a group of 8 MPs, 7 NDC MPs, 1 NPP MP. They took the bill to the House of Parliament and said they wanted LGBTQ activities proscribed and criminalized. It's been 3 years, and today the gavel of the Speaker of Parliament landed, and it said simply that that bill has been passed and the bill will be sent to the President for assent, or if he has to reject it, with an explanation. One of the key proponents, and indeed the man who became the face of the campaign in Parliament, is a Ningo Pram Member of Parliament, Samuel Nate George. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you very much, Omar. Good evening to you and good evening to you, all listeners.
Good evening. It's been 3 years. How would you describe the journey?
Tough, trying, but also very educative and interesting. It's been a difficult one navigating all the hurdles that have been put in our way. But at times it looked as though the bill would not move. There had been no movement for 6 months at a stretch. And then all of a sudden it picks up speed again and you need to stay on point. And it's been a challenging mental exercise. Remembering arguments that were made against provisions or for provisions 3 years ago or 2 years ago during the debate, but you have to have that recollection of everything so that everything you say can show consistency for the record. So it's been a good one.
I see. Now, talk to us about the final day. We do know that there were some issues that were raised before the final approval. You even raised some of them. What critical intervention did you have to bring to the bill before it went through?
Okay, so, I mean, we have worked with the media closely on this bill, and the media has been one of the biggest supports we have. But what we've tried to do is to deal with any misconceptions and any tweaks that are put to the bill. One of the major tweaks that we see that the opponents to the bill have been putting out is that even editorial policies of the media are being curtailed and that we're going back to criminal libel. There is nothing further away from the truth. But what we decided to do was to say that, look, to give our media friends assurances and make assurance double sure, to show them that we as sponsors respect their Article 12, their Chapter 12 right in the Constitution, the independence of the media and all. I decided today with my colleagues to introduce a provision that had to do with Clause 10 and Clause 11, which dealt with the propagation and advocacy, which is where the spin was being put. We introduced that subject to the provisions of the Constitution, so that it enforces the fact that everything we have imposed there, which is against advocacy, is still protected under the Constitution. So, Umaru, you would agree with me as a journalist of good repute that there's a difference between an editorial and advocacy. You can have an editorial on a subject matter without necessarily going into advocacy for the matter. People have run editorials on, for example, money laundering, but that editorial does not advocate for money laundering, you understand? And that's the point and so just to give our media friends assurances, that's why we did that in a limited intervention before going into the third reading.
Did you have any person objecting to the passage of the bill when you got to the end?
I think the records will show that. I don't want to personalize any issues. I'm sure the records of Parliament will bear out the two individuals who tried to filibuster. I think that the Hansard will bear them out. I would not want to personalize and mention names.
But did they vote against it when it got to the voting stage?
Well, when it got to the voting, I did not hear anybody vote no.
What do you say to people who observe the publication and say this bill that you have led is a bill that will lead Ghana 100 years back? And this is a point that would be made by a number of pro-LGBTQI advocates who have insisted that this bill is totally unnecessary and that we are going down the Ugandan way, which is not forward-looking. What do you say to that?
It's a very myopic and unintelligent position for anybody to hold. If we look at the EIU report for third world countries or developing economies, the EIU report for 2024, Uganda is actually rated ahead of Ghana as the sixth fastest growing economy. Uganda, the sixth fastest growing African economy in 2024. Nigeria has passed a similar legislation as far back as 2015. What has happened to Nigeria's economy? So that spin is, like I said, is unacademic and uninformed. Look, America is currently passing legislation to curtail and curb the spread of LGBTQ. So is America going backwards for 100 years? The state of Tennessee, 2 days ago, passed legislation banning the display of LGBTQ flags in public schools and public spaces. The state of Tennessee. In 2023, the Department of Defense banned the holding of any transgender activities during Pride Month on any U.S. military base. The state of Texas has had issues has bans placed on transgender shows for persons under the age of 18. So, that argument is not backed by the fact, because in the US, in the EU, they are walking back. Italy is passing legislation walking back the scourge of LGBTQ. Poland, a major member of NATO, and a major member of the European Union, Hungary, are all walking back LGBTQ legislation. So, are they saying that those countries are going back? Like I said, it's an uninformed and uneducated position to hold.
What about the human right angle, that these are people who have the right to be whatever they want, and this is what they decide that they want? You are criminalizing something that they want. You are criminalizing their desires. What do you say to that?
Well, rights accrue by virtue of they being conferred. All rights in Ghana accrue by virtue of the 1992 Constitution. I dare any of the proponents of that position to show you a right in the 1992 Constitution that accrues to anybody on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity. There is no such right in the 1992 Constitution. So I won't even go into the debate of whether sexual preferences are rights or not. They should just show us where in the Constitution that right is conferred. Rights are not rights. Rights are defined. Rights are defined, and the Constitution spells out all the rights. And even the rights that are defined in the Constitution, the right to life, the right to free speech, the right to assembly, the Constitution is clear. The Constitution makes it clear that those rights are only enjoyable insofar as they do not affect public health, public safety, and public morality. The science and the evidence from the CDC of the United States, the Center for Disease Control, shows that homosexuality is a public health disaster. It makes persons, practitioners, are 40 times more liable to mental disorders and psychological disorders and suicidal tendencies. Men who have sex with men are 400 times more likely to contract HIV. It is substance abuse is 400 times more in persons. So the science points to a public health disaster, LGBTQ is. So if our Constitution limits even enjoyment of rights on the basis of public health, and then you go to public morality, which is another thing that is spoken about. And when people say we are not a moral state, we are not a moral state, they have not read the Constitution. It's surprising that you see lecturers of law, professors emeritus, professors of law, saying that this bill is a morality thing. And the Constitution says that your freedoms can be curtailed on the basis of public morality. So you want to ask yourself, how are they reading the Constitution?
Finally, the international ramifications, repercussions, and consequences of this bill that you are passing. I recall Professor Mill saying to Tony Blair that he could keep his aid, and then, if you like, we would do what we want. That means that at the time Tony Blair, the Prime Minister of the UK, was pushing that particular agenda here. We do know that it is an agenda that has been pushed in many countries by many countries. Sometimes it's even tied to international aid and support and donor support. How are you going to navigate, or how do you reckon Ghana navigates through that circle, considering that a lot of these things are tied together?
Prudent economic management is the way to go. I just told you earlier in the interview that Uganda, whose economy is small, way smaller than Ghana, is projected to be the sixth fastest growing economy this year, despite whatever sanctions they claim they have tried to put on them. Look, Umaro, do you think that an American business in Ghana, and we can list the American businesses in Ghana when we get there, or the European businesses in Ghana, we can list all of them. Do you think that they are operating in Ghana because of LGBTQ rights, or they are operating in Ghana because of profit? If you are doing business in Ghana and making profit, And some advocacy group is really talking about LGBTQ. You think that they're going to close shop and leave Ghana when their business is making profit? Did they come to Ghana because of homosexuality, or did they come here? Is their business promotion of homosexuality, or their business is selling or importing or exporting products and making good profit? Ghana is a profitable market. They will stay here. They will not want to be caught up in the advocacy of a few misguided elements in the West.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Most grateful.
That's Samonate George. He is NDC Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram. He is one of 8 MPs who went to Parliament with a proposal, which is a bill, asking that the activities of lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and plus activities in Ghana be criminalized and proscribed. And today, the House of Parliament passed that particular bill. Let's listen to the Speaker of Parliament making the announcement.
My friends have come aboard. My friends I'm George and colleagues who are part of this process. Let's accommodate each other. The beauty of this democracy is when we are able to listen to each other. No matter how long it may be, you have your day. It's an appeal. So, Mr. Speaker, please grant my prayer. Mr. Speaker, please grant my prayer so that I will be able to file my amendment so that I can come formally. To move for second consideration. If it fails, if I bring my amendment and those amendments fail, there's no problem. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Honourable members, I was simply going to say that the train has just already left the station. The majority leader is often quoted as saying, this is the house of rules. Rules on the suspension of standing orders 3-1. It's rightly in our standing orders. It's been moved, seconded, and right on the Speaker, you can quote the standing orders on your application in the standing orders. So, right on Speaker, my submission is that we allow the process to go forward.
Mr. Speaker, I can only bring my prayer after the motion has been seconded. So it isn't the case that the horses are bolted and I'm dealing with an empty stable. No. The matter must come before the House, before you can speak to it. So at the time he was moving the motion, I couldn't have been interjected. That is not a procedure, with respect, honorable colleague. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Major.
Mr. Speaker, our colleague, the majority leader, just asked for a prayer. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, the Bible says that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. And I believe the time for the third reading of this bill is now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Put the question.
I'm going to put the question. I'm going to put the question that has the motion has been moved and seconded. And I left it for your consideration. You made your points. And it's not for me to take the decision, it's for the House to take the decision. And so I put the question. Those in favor that the youth.
Mr. Speaker, there is an intervening matter. As it is now, the motion is not standing on its 4 legs in absolute terms. I have brought an intervening matter before you. Mr. Speaker, respectfully,
Honorable member, I think we have listened to you enough. So let me put the question. Those in favor that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 be taken through the third reading, say aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 is read the third time and passed.
So that's the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, after a conversation or a debate on the floor over the anti-LGBTQI bill, which has now been passed by the legislature, awaiting a decision by the executive. Now, when this bill was first drafted somewhere in 2021, I interviewed Professor Audrey Gajekpo. He is former dean of the School of Information and Communication Studies at the University of Ghana. She has been an opponent of this particular bill. Number of publications to her name. Anti-LGBTQI bill promotes witch hunting. It has no place in the 21st century. And when the Committee of Parliament started hearing proposals and petitions against or in favor of the bill, she, Professor Odrigajepo, the late Akoto Ampao, Tuguba, and others, some 12 other persons and associations, went to the committee to make arguments against the passage of that bill. 3 years on, the bill is now passed. We've called her up for a comment on that. Prof, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on.
Listening to what happened in Parliament and considering your views before the bill was passed, what's your reaction immediately having heard that the House of Parliament has passed the bill against LGBTQ activities in Ghana?
Well, I must say that I wasn't surprised, even though I was disappointed. And the reason I say I wasn't surprised was that I have followed, and you rightly said, we opposed the bill right from when it was proposed. We sent, and it's a big 18 individuals who came together. We sent a memo to the parliamentary committee at the time, pointing out, we see that the bill went through a lot of revisions and amendments, but the essence of the bill still stands. It was our view, and it is still our view, as we indicated in a press statement we issued yesterday, that if the bill is passed, and we anticipated it will probably be passed today, it would be a sad day for our democracy, because the implications of the bill affect us all, not just people with a sexual orientation that we do not like.
The bill has gone through various stages. It took 3 years for the proponents and the opponents in the House to debate it, and there have been a lot of surgical operations conducted on the bill. In fact, the latest needles and syringes entered the bill today, and it has been made whole now in the eyes of the 275 MPs, and it has been passed. Are you saying that despite all the revisions and reviews that were done, the amendments that were done before the passage, the bill, in your view, is still unwholesome?
Absolutely, and without any question in my mind. You know, you said that the bill has gone through all of these things and it was passed by 275 people. Did you see the chamber? Did you see the chamber? I don't even think they had a quorum. It was an empty chamber that I was seeing from my TV screen.
The issue of quorum. Just a second. The issue of quorum is an issue of law which can only arise when it has been raised. If it has not been raised, then it means there was no issue of quorum in the chamber.
Okay, but
And since the speaker sat and no one challenged it, I don't think that matters. Again, it's been debated over 3 years. There would have been times there were maybe 100%, sometimes 17%, and all. I'm just trying to say that if there was an issue of no quorum, that's a legal matter that could have been raised. Since it has not been raised, the assumption now is that all 275 MPs were in the House and they approved it, whether or not you were on sick leave or not.
I am correcting you. You can say that the bill has been passed, but I am correcting you. You cannot factually say all 275 people were in the House because they were not.
But when the speaker put the question, we didn't hear anybody say no.
Nor there.
Nobody said no.
Yes, but you know, I believe in factuality when you're reporting. 275 people were not in the House at the time that the motion was moved on the bill today. But it doesn't matter, does it? Parliament has passed the bill. The majority has had its say. And the reason that our position has not changed is that we think that in a democracy, it is not only what the majority wants that holds sway. It is protection of the rights of minorities. So when it comes to human rights, it's not an issue for the majority to approve or disapprove. You see, let me give you an example. If you go to certain communities, maybe now it may change a little bit, but at the time when we were fighting unlawful traditional practices, if you go into those communities, the majority will say, this is our tradition. Let us do it. But does it conform to the Constitution? Does it? And does it protect the rights of minorities? That's what democracy is about. It's about having the majority rule on certain things. But there are strong constitutional provisions that protect the minority, including minority views. Look, even the provisions in our Constitution charge the state media to accommodate divergent views. It didn't say that if those divergent views have to do with people's sexual orientation, you shouldn't allow it to be expressed. But this bill will preclude them from accommodating divergent views. If I were you people in the media, I would read the bill because we have, in part of our advocacy, we have gone around the country and it is clear to us because we asked specifically, hardly anybody has read this bill. Hardly. That's why there will be provisions that will come as a shock to you. But that's where we are.
The publications that are making the rounds are suggesting that you are asking the president not to sign. If he were listening to us tonight, can you give reasons why you think the president should not sign the bill when it comes to his desk?
Yes. We are asking the president not to sign the bill for a plethora of reasons, which we stated in our press statement yesterday. We think that fundamentally, even though there's been a lot of revisions done to this bill, it still infringes on the rights and dignities of citizens who happen to have a different sexual orientation from the majority. We note that, the bill undermines our democratic principles as a country that has a constitution that promotes non-discrimination on many grounds, including on the grounds of gender. Okay? And gender, we cannot decide, means binary. Any scholar of gender knows that gender is more complicated than male and female. But the Constitution says you cannot discriminate on all kinds of grounds, religion, etc. The Constitution is a secular constitution. So religious people may have moral on certain things, and there's no problem. They should continue to pray for people. They should continue to try and converse people. They should continue in their own actions to persuade people, whatever they want to do. But you cannot have the state legislate on the grounds of morality and on religion. You cannot, because we're a secular state. We're not a theocracy.
Are you going to go to the courts to prevent this?
Prevent what? We cannot go to
prevent the bill from maturing, or even if it matures, from killing it. Or would you go and try to kill it?
No, what we are going to court to do, because we know how the courts operate, is to wait. If, unfortunately, the president signs the bill into law, and we're asking him not to, and we think that the president, because of his human rights background and his legal background, knows how problematic this bill will be. For example, just by telling somebody that I see myself to have a certain identity, you stick me in jail. How is that possible? How is that possible? But they passed it. And I am telling you that they have passed it not because of anything, but for political reasons.
Explain the political reasons bit.
Yeah, let me tell you my motivation for saying that. And I'm happy to send you the video of Mr. Sam George, the chief proponent of the bill. In 2015, was it, when his candidate, his president, John Mahama, was being accused of having a friend who was a homosexual, sponsoring him, etc., etc. Sam George is on record as saying that the Constitution protects those rights. So I have to wonder, why did he change his tune? Why did he change his tune? And why aren't you, well, not you personally, but why isn't the media, particularly the medium in which he appeared, asking him to explain why his tune has changed? What has changed? 10 years ago, did he have a different morality from today, from 2021, when he proposed the bill? That's why I'm saying that it's just politics. They are walking over the bodies of vulnerable people. Because as for people of a sexual orientation, they know that there's a stigma to it. They know there's disapproval of it. So they are powerless. And that's why the Constitution is there. And that's why there are advocates like us to give these issues voice. That's what a democracy allows. But even in this bill, they want to stop that possibility that we have as democratic citizens. If you advocate, you can go to jail for 5 years. How is that? So there should be no debate. Once the bill is passed, we should be afraid, very afraid, because the principles in this bill can be misused for other minorities. Trust me, other minorities. Trust me. And when it comes, we will look up and say, how did we get here? And we got here because we all thought that because we are not of that sexual orientation, we don't know people of that sexual orientation, or they are not our friends, it's okay for them to be persecuted and prosecuted in law. We were silent. That's why we say it's a sad day for democracy.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and thank you for the time.
For having me on. Thank you.
That's Professor Odriga Jeko. Always maintained her position, her stance against the anti-LGBTQI bill, which was brought before Parliament from the draft stage through the various debates in Parliament, and today it being passed. She still insists that it is not right and describes it as a sad day for democracy. The chief proponent, Sam George, is excited and happy. And based on the issues of the laws and human rights that have just been raised, a lawyer just sent me a message and it says, the rights are subject to public morality. So that's what a lawyer has sent to me. A law student also sends me a message and says, procedural matters can always be raised even after the passage of the bill. They can always go for judicial review for breach of procedure. If indeed there was no quorum, they can contest that in court. So that is what has been sent to me variously by people who are listening to the conversation. Ada Danielson from Navrongo says, I'm happy with the LGBTQI bill passage. However, the punishment is not so deterrent enough. Future amendments should propose a tougher sanction of up to a minimum of 10 or 20 years. Wolanyo sends a message from Akwetia and he says, the LGBTQI bill has been passed and kudos to our honorable members of the parliament for such boldness to make the bill, to see the bill through. Zilis Dwayne in London says, good news, let's wait for the president to assent to the bill. Ayuba from Yagbon says, thanks to Allah and the parliament for the passage of the much-awaited anti-LGBTQI bill. In fact, I urge the parliament to enforce this law as it's supposed to be because our culture and family values are important. Alasan Hamdan from Nyoni in Tamale South says is left with the executive power to sign. That's where we are going to have some issues. Will Nana Akufo-Addo make it official? Time will tell. Paul Aka Jr. also sends a message and he says, we thank God the controversial bill has finally been passed. The president must attach necessity to it and do the needful by assenting to it so we can chase out the practitioners of such heinous crimes. Amisco Spelele in Kasua Republic also sends a message on this particular issue and he says, kudos to Parliament for the passage of the anti-LGBTQI bill. Indeed, we can't afford to change our values and culture as Ghanaians. Let's say no to LGBTQ activities in Ghana. Hashtag I support the anti-LGBTQI bill. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. When we come back, we'll be in the Supreme Court where today Anas Arimi, Anas investigative journalist, was given a bloody nose by the court over a petition that he brought before the Supreme Court, or an appeal if you like, from the High Court, where he was not happy with the decision of the High Court in a defamation case that he brought against Asin Central MP, Honorable Kennedy Ejapon. Stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Chairman! Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. I'm afraid. Yeah. Media Sambisanda Moa. It's your Ratiano. Mumu Panet, Mumu put on Pemo Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Mumu wants me to be just Mali Marina there. Eh, good job. And the crew. Complete Mirin and Budon Pimus, so you super excellent Eba. I didn't buy the Braille. Who see it in a mobile? Some man are ordering. Sir, I now could you soon use super excellent Chaco. Nenry dear, a mouse, we are cringing fit of that. No, what you ask my mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Chaco. A baby, you're gonna natural.
FTIJ Jadian Katuyatu.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM, broadcasting from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou, here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. We are indeed live across the country on a host of affiliates, including in the Upper West region on Bugli Radio 88.6 FM in Wa. We are in Upper East on WED 88.3 FM in Zuarungu. We are in Northern region on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. We are in the Volta region on Huli 98.5 FM in Aflau. We are in the Eastern region on Right 90.1 FM in Somaya. We are in the Ashanti region on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. We are in the Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Western region, we are in Takrady on Sky Power 93.5 FM, Premier 100.5 FM, and Beach 105.5 FM. We are also live on YouTube, that's CityTube. We are live on Facebook, and we are interactive. Howard has some other stories for us.
The Supreme Court has dismissed an application for certiorari brought against the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon, by Anas Arimeyao Anas. The 5-member panel, presided over by Her Ladyship, Justice Gertrude Tokono, upheld the High Court ruling which threw out a 25 million cedi defamation suit filed by investigative journalist Anas Arimeyao Anas against Kennedy Ejapon and awarded a cost of 50,000 cedis against Anas 6 years ago. Anas accused the lawmaker of defaming him and commenced legal action against Mr. Ejapon in 2018. The Supreme Court, by majority decision, dismissed the case today. The lawyer for Kennedy Ohene Ejapon wanted cost awarded against Anas Arimeyao Anas, but that was declined by the Supreme Court. Kennedy Ejapon's lawyer, Ralph Ejapon, spoke to the media shortly after the court proceedings.
As we witnessed in court, this was an application called certiorari. It's a prerogative right, praying for another to set aside the judgment of the High Court, a 70-page judgment on the basis of what? Bias, and without jurisdiction. The court of competent jurisdiction, such as the High Court, has delivered a 70-page judgment, and you bring such a frivolous application here before this court. I mean, so what the court did was in the right direction. Simplicity dismissed the application. If you heard what the court said, they said by a majority decision. So let's wait, and then when we are finished with a copy of the entire ruling, hopefully by Monday, I believe all of us can have the opportunity and time to dissect. He was asking this court, the Superior Court, by an application called certiorari. So, the Supreme Court has supervisory jurisdiction over the High Court. So what he basically brought here was that the court, General Jurisdiction 11, the judgment which was delivered by that court was done without jurisdiction. And for me, it doesn't make sense. But as I indicated earlier, let's wait and, when we have the full complement of the ruling of the court, we can...
That was lawyer for Kennedy Ejapon, Ralph Ejapon. Still at the Supreme Court, the Apex Court also dismissed a case brought against the state by Child Rights International, seeking, among other things, that the government take steps to clear children from the street and offer them education as guaranteed in the 1992 Constitution. The 7-member panel, presided over by Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Arba Isaba Saki Tokono, noted in her ruling that the case was dismissed mainly because the lawyers for the plaintiff did not invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Hence, their appearance was deficient, even though they have a genuine case. Speaking to Citi News, Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, expressed disappointment but noted that they will study the final ruling and strategize to fight the case again.
Made that a pronouncement, and clearly they expressed their opinion. For that matter, I'm sure the lawyers will study the case, and if there is a need for us to come back, we'll do so. But you heard from the bench that there is a genuine case. It's just that we couldn't come up before, so we will study all the issues and then probably appear before them, and then so that they can look at the substantive case. I strongly believe that there's merit in the substantive case that need to be looked at so that we can protect our children. And this is a very important case for us, so we're not going to stop now, depending on how the judgment is. So when the lawyers are done studying it, we will see the way forward.
What reliefs were you seeking from the court?
Well, we're looking at children on the street, and then how best we can also save them from the street. So basically, asking for an action for the Supreme Court to see how best they can give some kind of a responsibility to the state to get rid of these children from the street and also guarantee their right to education. So clearly, these are issues, and I'm happy that the Supreme Court made it clear that we have a genuine case, just that we didn't come properly. And for us, it's not even issue that we want to win. It's not a case that we want to win.
Bright Appiah is Executive Director of Child Rights International. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission (GTEC), in a bid to fast-track the application for accreditation for tertiary institutions, has launched the Accreditation Management Information System (AMIS). The new platform is to enable universities apply for accreditation of programs without the need to physically visit the Commission's offices. The platform also offers real-time updates on the processes and status of applications and enhances transparency and accountability for all parties involved. Acting Director General of GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, during the launch of the platform in Tamale, said the AMIS platform would modernize the tertiary education space.
Previously, the Commission accredited an average of 400 to 600 programs every quarter. But with the new committee, they successfully accredited 1,024 programs in the last quarter of this year, 2023. We are very confident that in no time, all tertiary institutions in the country will come on board because the benefits of the AMIS are huge. And I cannot imagine any tertiary institution opting out. I am very sure that others are itching to join. In this era of technology and digitization, we cannot afford to remain where we were 10 years ago because the world has moved fast-paced, and so we have no option but to move along. AMIS is done elsewhere and has proven to be an effective, efficient, and resourceful as well as a useful tool for smooth accreditation processes. We are determined to rate the tertiary education space of unregistered programs and institutions and to make sure that any program run by any institution is duly accredited.
Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi is the Acting Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. The Ghana Mine Workers Union of TUC is skeptical about the proposed recapitalization plans put forth by Future Global Resources, the operators of the Bogoso Prestea mines. These doubts stem from a series of demands made by workers highlighting FGR's lack of demonstrated financial capacity to effectively manage the mines since assuming control in 2020. However, despite FGR's intentions to inject capital into the mines, the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, emphasizes lack of trust in Future Global Resources' ability to fulfill its obligations.
The investor called Blue Holders, owners of Future Global Resources, have demonstrated to the whole country that indeed they do not have the capacity to run the mine. And so if today we are being told by a press statement that they are committed to a recapitalization, subject to some restructuring, what they call a restructuring, then clearly this is something that the union and its members have taken with a pinch of salt. We have taken this press statement with a pinch of salt because we have absolutely no reason to believe what has been put out there. If indeed Future Global Resources was committed to investing in this asset, it would have manifested itself right from the year 2020. Between 2020 and now, like I said, no investment of significant value has gone into the Bogoso Prestea mine. No investment of significant value has gone into the Bogoso Prestea mine. And so it's important that we all understand that Future Global Resources, and for that matter, the statement they have put out there, is not intended in any way to recapitalize this mine. Now, as you may all recall, the Minerals Commission served Future Global Resources a 120-day notice. And this is in accordance with the Minerals and Mining Act.
Mr. Gbana further called on the government to immediately withdraw the company's mining lease and hand over same to potential investors, citing previous unsuccessful attempt to obtain proof of financial capabilities from the Minerals Commission.
It's important that given where we are now, and given the fact that Future Global Resources has not been able to show proof or show cause why the mining lease should not be withdrawn, this period expired on December the 13th, 2023. Between December and today, we're in February, heading towards March. That's about 2 months. Future Global Resources has not been able to show cause. And so we do not really know what exactly the Minerals Commission is doing now, and by extension, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We expect the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to act more decisively on this matter. The ministry must act a lot more robustly on this matter to bring this matter to a more decisive closure. Because as far as we are concerned, if workers' salaries have been in arrears since December, Future Global Resources that claims that it is contemplating recapitalization have not even been able to meet its short-term obligations. How then can we trust that Future Global Resources pay the statement that has been put out there?
General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union of TUC, Abdul Mumin Bana.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Yesterday, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo appeared before the House of Parliament and delivered the State of the Nation address to the House. 24 hours on, we've been getting various reactions coming through. The first one is from the health sector. How has the story?
The National Health Student Association of Ghana has voiced its disappointment with the President's recent State of the Nation address. The association argues that the speech failed to adequately address numerous pressing issues concerning health trainees. Speaking to Citi News, Daniel Onoma Asamoah, president of the association, stated that it intends to petition Parliament to seek a resolution to their grievances.
As a collective voice for the National Health Students Association of Ghana across the country, we were actually disappointed regarding the absence of critical issues which were not addressed from our association. We thought that the president could have tackled issues of unemployment affecting health professionals in the country. We have some 2020 group of nurses and midwives who are at home, the physician assistants from 2019 who are not yet been posted, allied group from 2020 who have not yet been posted, and pharmacy technicians. All these are waiting postings, but we were hoping that since he was going to read the State of the Nation address, he could have tackled on these issues and let the graduates who are home awaiting postings have some bit of hope, but that did not happen. And what we want to do as a group is we are coming together as one coalition together. We will submit a joint petition to the various stakeholders, that's the Ministry of Finance, and possibly the Select Committee on Health at Parliament. Then from there, we can lead our next line of action.
Daniel Onoma Asamoah is the president of the National Health Student Association of Ghana.
Now, one thing the president spoke about yesterday in the fight against corruption and also loss of money to the state was the statement he made that some 10 trillion Ghana cedis was saved the state by the Attorney General's Department. That comment has generated widespread reactions. And today, the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, did an interview in which he explained what exactly the president meant when he made that statement yesterday. He spoke to Hansi Najiman of the Citi Newsroom. Let's listen to him.
The amount, 10 trillion Ghana cedis, is even an understatement. That they have more savings. I just don't want to sound necessarily sensational, but a proper reckoning of how much has been saved actually show that we say this is over maybe 15 trillion Ghana cedis. And these are all in judgment debts that we have set aside and all since 2020 that I can allude to. And so 10 trillion Ghana cedis was just in one case. It's titled African Automobile Limited against Minister of Employment, Manpower, and then the Attorney General. So the original order by the court for payment to the amount is here 10 trillion 331 million 841 331 billion 849 million and then 411,000 Ghana cedis. So it's here. It arose out of a simple transaction for a supply of equipment and vehicles to the government of Ghana. And then there was a default and all. And the original sum for me was just about 979,000 Ghana cedis or so as of 1999. And by the time the judgment was awarded, it had ballooned to 10 trillion. And so straight away, we filed processes to have the payment of the sum set aside on the basis of fraud. So the writ has been issued in the High Court, challenging it on the basis of fraud. And then there has also been the grant of an application by the court suspending the payment and all. So that is it. Beyond that, we have other cases.
If we could clear this case first, we know that usually the process would have been to go to superior courts to set this aside. What led to the decision to go back to the High Court?
Because that's it. Because an action to set aside judgment on the basis of fraud must be pursuant to a fresh action at the High Court. So it's actually a High Court action that you must file. That's a proper forum to pursue it.
But we knew that had gone to the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Did it go up to the Supreme Court?
No. Yes. A Court of Appeal had affirmed the judgment of the High Court until we intervened and said no. The judgment ought to be set aside on the basis of fraud.
Now, going back with the High Court ruling this way, can the other party decide to go to the Supreme Court?
Well, it's up to them. It's up to them to provide the necessary defense and all. And if they are aggrieved by any ruling of the High Court, they must go to the Court of Appeal. No, our contention is that the whole sum ought not to be paid, and that even there's no liability on the part of the government of Ghana, and therefore we should not pay at all. So we are not saying that we owe a part of it or so. I think that, yes, per our reckoning, I think just about 50,000 or so cedis is what is left to be paid by government of Ghana.
And that 50,000 will be paid?
No. I mean, but it's ultimately, just like the NDK case when the Supreme Court held that we're supposed to pay only 14,000 Ghana cedis instead of 1.27 billion Ghana cedis.
I suggest there are other cases which the state have said the ages of his rights will have saved some money for the state.
Yes, so I can quickly take you through this one too by a company called China Jinlen. And the China Jinlen case was a case in which the people were claiming about 582 billion Ghana cedis against the government of Ghana. And ultimately, the Supreme Court, in the judgment ruling dated January 2023, set aside the order for the payment. And indeed, upheld our contention that the claimants even had no capacity at all. And the court said if they want to claim the amount, then they must actually come to court and establish their identity and capacity. And since then, there has not been any such step. Because indeed, they have no capacity. The person who originally entered into transaction with the state had died in England and does not exist.
What will you say to a person who says this 15 trillion really, as you talk about, do not sit in the books of Ghana's accounts? So Ghana does not have any 15 trillion cedis, but perhaps you might have just saved Ghana from going to look for that money.
Yeah, but that's the point. I mean, so as we stand here, I don't know whether maybe we have 10 million Ghana cedis, but a person can take a writ out against you for 10 million Ghana cedis in defamation because you're a journalist. The person will not inquire from you whether you have 10 million Ghana cedis before you are sued. So the saving is actually in respect of claims that have been fought off successfully, or that the government stands a high likelihood of fighting off. And as I said, that it is different from situations where previously the government will sit down with people to negotiate, and as you saw in the William case and what have you. That is not happening now.
So that's Godfred Yebu Adame, he's Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, speaking to Hansi Najiman of the Citi Newsroom. Up next is business news, and then we have Point Blank. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation Movement World Cup like that? Mr. Mane, sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman, hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Ghana must grow.
Boss. KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. Former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has emphasized the need for a strategic shift in the country's fiscal policies. Speaking at PFM Tax Africa Network's media dialogue on Ghana's IMF program, Mr. Seth Terkper advocated for reducing reliance on treasury bills and returning to market borrowing to address budgetary deficit. Here is the former Finance Minister Seth Terkper.
Whilst you are broke and therefore you need your money from government, somebody has had a bonus and he wants to save. So he creates a market outside government. He said that government must be watching, because after all, it's government that is fueling his loan, it's a debt. So government, that's how come we need a 2015 World Bank bond. A substantial portion was used to pay off the first sovereign bond and domestic bonds which we had issued for second span. And that is what made government credible, that, after all, government can pay. And so you saw even foreigners coming into our market and giving us money. Right? So, short answer, we just have to go back to some of these things that work for us. We cannot sustain the economy on treasury bills. I've said that. Why? Because treasury bills is 3 months. So at the end of 3 months,
Seth Terkper is a former finance minister. Industry players have disagreed with the assessment by President Akufo-Addo that the economy is back on track after the economic crisis. The president, while giving the State of the Nation address in Parliament on Tuesday, stated that his government has managed to revive the economy despite the many setbacks. However, reacting to the news, President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyameke, says this is not accurate as the economic conditions still remain unfavorable to the business community.
When it comes
to the economy, that is where I have some slight challenge. And to put it bluntly, we are not out of the woods yet. Things may have eased a bit, especially when it comes to the inflation and then the cost of doing business slightly. But it's certainly very far from where we want to be. Coupled with the taxes that is going on. You see, sometimes it's not even the quantum of the tax, but the range of the taxes itself sometimes sends shivers down the spine of the business operators, including hotels. And that we should also appreciate and acknowledge that some of these economic measures that governments take is from their point of view in terms of dealing with the situation they find the country in. However, those who are affected by those measures also have a certain angle from which we are coming from. So when it doesn't sit down with us, then there's a need for a second look at it.
Dr. Edward Akanyamike is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. The Ghana FinTech and Payment Association is urging all sectors of the local economy to embrace financial technology initiatives, emphasizing their role in accelerating economic growth. As the 2024 general elections approach, the two major political parties are pledging to establish a FinTech Innovation Fund to support startups aiming to drive Ghana's digital revolution. Responding to this, the president of the Ghana FinTech and Payment Association, Martin Kwame Awaga, emphasized that Ghana cannot afford to fall behind in the global digital trend.
Has transitioned into an aggressive digital age. Hence, we cannot lag behind all the efforts and achievements being channeled into technological innovations and empowerment. That is why it is therefore essential that the country, our country, Ghana, has a lot to gain in terms of being competitive on the digital and technological innovation fronts globally, where we are seeing a lot of financial transactions and day-to-day business operations digitalized. Now, taking advantage of these opportunities is important now than later. So taking advantage of it now positions us also ahead of the curve towards economic empowerment, growth, and development, particularly as we are all clamoring for a cash-like or a cashless economy. By so doing, companies, SMEs, and even individuals can trust that they have access to their financial data any day and time. Also, we can also conduct our financial transactions in real time. Now, that is to say that with just a click of a button, either on our phone, tablet, or laptop, we can send or receive funds from anywhere in the world or even domestically within our own borders. So it makes the entire business of financial transactions seamless, easier, and faster for the ordinary Ghanaian.
That was the president of the Ghana FinTech and Payment Association, Martin Kwame Awaga. Tax analyst Francis Timoboy has called upon government to prioritize and extend support to the Ghana Revenue Authority. Mr. Timoboy stressed the critical need for sustained effort in bolstering the revenue collection apparatus. Speaking to Citi Business News, the tax analyst noted that while immediate results might not be apparent, strategic investment in the tax system are imperative for long-term success, particularly in addressing challenges within the informal sector.
What we expect in his promises is that he is prepared to give every support to the Revenue Authority to be able to ensure that they achieve their target. And indeed, the GRA needs support in terms of human resource, logistics, and other resources. I think that is where his target should be. It may not be in the short term, or maybe the results may not be in the short term, but I think that a lot more investment need to be done in our administration of the tax system. And I believe that in the long term, we may reap the fruit, especially in the informal sector.
That was tax analyst Francis Timoboy. Finally, the National Youth Authority is set to commence the training of over 24,000 youth with employable skills across the 261 districts of the country beginning March 1, 2024. The training, which will be held in partnership with the Africa Skills Hub Foundation, is expected to last 5 years. Speaking at a press launch, the chief executive for the NYA, Pius Enam-Hajide, noted that the program will go a long way to significantly reduce the rate of youth unemployment in the country.
As we mark this partnership, we envision a future where our youth are equipped with knowledge, skills, and opportunities that they need to succeed in the various sectors of their economic endeavors. The issue of youth employment or unemployment is a matter of great concern to the government, and we at the National Youth Authority, we do not only draft policies to resolve the challenge across board, but we also implement programs that also seek to deal with that problem of youth unemployment. And this partnership also underscores our commitment at the operational level in terms of implementing programs directly that inure to the benefits of the young people and that resolve the challenge of youth unemployment.
That was the Chief Executive for the National Youth Authority, Pius Enam-Hajide, and in City Business News on Eyewitness News. The Business News on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Are you struggling with navigating the complexities of modern relationships, family differences, office stresses, and everything in between? Whether you're single, in a committed relationship, or simply seeking guidance on self-discovery, Sister provides you with the tools and knowledge to thrive in your relationships. Join Chris Carter and her sisters as they navigate honest conversations, heartfelt stories, and expert advice that will foster a sense of community and sisterhood. Together, they'll tackle the challenges and triumphs of love while celebrating the unique experiences and perspectives of women everywhere. Tune in every week on Thursday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 Citi FM and Friday at 9 p.m. on Citi TV as the sisters explore the intricacies of love, share personal stories, and offer practical tips for building healthy, fulfilling connections. Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.
KB, yo. KB, aka Kube Boga. now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandama. Tonight on Point Blank, we are focusing on the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team. Today, he inaugurated his campaign team and his manifesto committee at the Alisa Hotel in Accra. And when he spoke, he said that his team has a better track record than John Mahama's team. Let's listen to him.
Has been engaged in the process of various elections towards the 2024 elections. We had our polling station elections, our electoral area coordinators, constituency, regional, national elections. And then we had our parliamentary primaries, our presidential primaries. And all of that has been done. On November the 4th, we elected the presidential candidate to contest the 2024 elections. And then we have also completed the parliamentary processes by and large. Today, following the announcement of the campaign teams and the manifesto committees, we thought that we should have a combined inauguration of both committee, both teams, because it is really a single purpose objective for all of us. We are going for the 2024 election on December 7th, and we need a combination of everybody. The manifesto committees will come up with the manifesto. The campaign committee will come up with the campaign strategy and execute the campaign. So the two sides, the message that we are going to go out with to the campaign is going to come out from the manifesto committee and all of that. So it is very important that we are making sure that the two committees are being inaugurated jointly today, and I think it makes a lot of sense that we are doing so. In doing so, we are also very aware that one of the keys to victory for MPP in 2024 is unity. It's the most important key to victory, is unity. And putting together all of these committees, we have been cognizant, listening to the advice of our elders and so on, to make sure that we do not leave everyone behind. We have over 40,000 polling stations. And so we want activity in 40,000 polling stations. We want the entire membership fully involved in the campaign. So I said that I will probably have 40,000 campaign managers, at least, because every polling station we will have a campaign manager there. So we want involvement across current executives and past executives. We don't want to forget the past executives. They are very important. They have a major role to play. And so this is why we have special outreach coordinators who are going to try to make sure everybody is involved in that. And the committees, as have been outdoored, you would find membership is going to be drawn from across the country into those committees. All the national executives will be part of all the committees so that we can have everybody pushing in the same direction. So if anybody thinks they don't have work to do, then maybe there's a mistake, because we have more work than we have people. So please, we need to make sure everybody is engaged and involved. I want you all to rest assured that if we all pull together, by the grace of God, it is possible. We are going to win 2024. We have the message, we have the vision, and we have the record. It is very clear, the exhilarating speech that was given by the president at the State of the Nation yesterday, as I listened to him, it was very clear that our government has outperformed the NDC government in every sector. I mean, every single sector. I can't see one sector where they have outperformed us. But every single sector, whether you're talking about jobs, whether you're talking about roads, whether you're talking about hospitals, whether you're talking about schools, across, well, digitalization. Across every single, it's amazing that you're going for a contest with your opponent to get to be promoted to the next level or what. And meanwhile, when you start the exam, you beat them in every single subject. Meanwhile, they are trying to convince the public that they are better than you. What sort of mathematics is that? I mean, really? You score 70%, they score 30%. And they are trying to say their 30% is better than you. It doesn't make sense. So in terms of the record, our record is superior. And we are going to put it out for public scrutiny, as the president mentioned in the performance tracker, which Kojo Nkrumah will launch very soon for us next month. The performance tracker. Our record is solid, and it is there for everybody to see. Our vision has been clearly laid out, and it will be reinforced by the manifesto. We know where we want to take the country. It's very clear. Laid out vision. Our opponents have a very blurred vision that they really don't know where they want to take us. They are announcing promises of things that we have already done. Did you hear that they want to do free Wi-Fi in senior high school? Can someone tell them that it has already been done? I mean, just whisper. A little research, they would have known. But they are promising things we have already done. It tells you that they are running out of ideas. When you start copying ideas of your opponent and trying to present them as yours, it tells you they are running out of ideas. So in terms of the vision and the ideas, we have the vision and we have the ideas, new ideas, and we are trying to implement them. We have the message. So I believe that the ingredients that are necessary for us to win the 2024 election are in place. And if we all pull together, we are going to do so. And I'm really, really excited about the prospects of prosecuting this campaign very, very strongly across the country. And this is why we are wasting no time. People say it looks like I'm in a hurry. Yes, we are in a hurry to make, a mark and to move this country forward. We have not wasted any time, in putting together our campaign team. We have not wasted any time in putting together our manifesto team. And we are not going to waste any time in getting into the action to campaign in the country. And that is where we are headed. So I am very, very happy that today we have come together and to inaugurate these two very important committees, the manifesto committee and the campaign committees as part of the wider campaign team. So let me first of all start with the campaign team, which is going to be chaired by the indefatigable Dan Kwekuboche, because the president called me indefatigable yesterday, so I can also, and he will really help us steer this campaign with the Operiansa as manager. I think they will work very well together. So let us by acclamation. Manifesto committee is being chaired by Oseche Mensah Bonsu. I always call him leader, so he will be leading still from the manifesto side. Leader, you will be chairing, and we will clap into inauguration the manifesto committee, and we expect these two teams to drive these processes. After today, if you want to speak about the campaign, please go to Dambochi. If you want to speak about the manifesto, go to Osechi Mensabusu, and they will guide you on the way forward so that we have some clarity on what we are doing. But I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited about the future. We cannot be complacent, but by the grace of God, it is possible. We will win 2024. Thank you very, very much.
So that's Dr. Mahmoud Baumia outdooring his campaign team. And you heard him there say that if you want to hear about the campaign, talk to Dan Boche. So Dan Kwekuboche spoke to journalists. Let's listen to him.
I can see people who I know work even in the UP tradition. They are here. I know those who work directly with Professor Buzia in the Progress Party. Some are in this room. Then I know PFP, UNC people, they are here. I can see those who organize New Political Party into being, those who use their resources to buy. We are the only party who bought and owned our party office at Kokomemre with our own money from opposition. I can see those who did it, who championed it, first treasurer. I can see them here. Then I can see all those who have been involved in the struggles in different ways that people didn't know. They are all here. So, Mr. Vice President, you said that it is true. We have the people, and we have always had the people. Then, we have a former president, President J. Ekufuor. Just didn't become president. He worked through the system to become president. If you talk about even the current republic, his involvement in 92, his involvement in 96, you should have seen him, his Mazda pickup touring the country, wanting to become presidential candidate. And then later on, having a red Nissan Patrol, touring the whole country. Then he becomes president, and he serves good 8 years. We have him there. Then we have the sitting president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. He too started touring the country very well from 98. So he knows every part of Ghana. Then he has become president, and he will be president for another 8 years. It is said in Akanda, Unipenye Adrie. So we have it. People from UP, through Progress Party to this age, and we have two former presidents. All parts. Then we have a vice president. The president described yesterday as indefatigable for 8 years. So starting from there, plus all the others I can see, and those who were young some time ago who are now old, and then very youthful ones too here. A campaign is the management of resources. the human resources and other resources, following a campaign plan to achieve your objective. Thank God we have the resources, accomplished ones, not just names. People individually and collectively, we have distinguished ourselves. And so, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the National Coordinating Campaign Team, and the word is coordinating. Mr. President, you said it. You said it's from almost 40,000 polling stations. We are all involved in the campaign. The officers and all the members. And even those who may not necessarily be directly MPP members are all part of our campaign. We are going to use all resources within and outside the party and to a disciplined effort. Campaigns can be chaotic, but the key thing is discipline, focus. We are a conservative party. We believe in people freely speaking their minds. There will be cross-pollination of ideas. But as it is done in all places, we are always, they call 3Ds. We'll debate among ourselves. We'll discuss. At the end of the day, we take decisions. Then when you take decisions, all of us will apply the discipline and will follow. You can have stars in a football team. Very good. We have a chief footballer here. You can have stars. But if they don't submit themselves to discipline and the guidance of the plan or the coach, you can have very good bright stars, but yet you cannot win the game. I believe all of us will be guided by the values of the party. We shall all follow the details of our leader. We shall work together. It is New Patriotic Party campaign. New Patriotic Party campaign. So it's not as if there's some people called campaign people and then there's a party people. No. It is New Patriotic Party campaign. And on behalf of all the team, we thank you so much, Mr. Vice President and the leadership for the honor done this. And we promise that we'll work very hard to make sure that we will achieve our objective, being that we shall win majority of the 235 seats in Parliament, and we shall win well over 50% of the presidential votes. And by God's grace, make you, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the president. It is possible, and we can do that.
So that's Dan Kwekuye Botwe. He is the campaign chairman of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign for election 2024. Ending today's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Omar Rusanda Ahmad. Production by Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafe. Technical support from Daniel Squashi and Desmond Nyaku. New media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.